Jenna Good, team leader of the Jenna Good team, joins me on the podcast today. She emphasizes the importance of embracing AI and encourages agents to lean in to stay ahead in the industry. Her advice is to overcome fear, set goals, and take action. You know this is going to be good with Jenna Good. Tune in. Are you a real estate agent eager to unlock the power of AI to boost your productivity and scale your business? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Real Estate AI Flash, the weekly podcast that takes AI from a buzzword to a business tool, making it approachable and actionable for agents like you. I'm your host, Rajiv Sajja, and each week I interview agents from across the country who are using AI to transform their careers. Join us on this journey to become an AI skilled agent and take your real estate career to the next level. Now let's get to this episode. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate AI Flash, and I'm so honored to have Jenna Good from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. And Jenna Good is a team leader of the Jenna Good team, and over the last 7 years in business, her and her team have done over 250 transactions. And I'm excited to get into her with AI. So, Jenna, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you and I were talking, obviously, you've attended some recent conferences that you were at, and you also host your own podcast. We'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. So you should listen to Jenna, hopefully unplugged and unfiltered.
Yeah.
Jenna.
Sometimes
right?
You're a little too unplugged, a little too unfiltered, but I think.
Yeah, I hear you. That's the life in real estate, right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I would love for the listening audience to kind of learn a little bit more about Jenna. I know you're a lifelong resident of Lancaster County, and that's one of the favorite stopping points for me and my wife to kind of come shopping in Lancaster County. I love Lancaster County. I just love the ambiance, and living there is great. Away from the hustle bustle, I call it, being in Philadelphia.
Yes.
But I'd love for the audience to kind of get to know Jenna a little bit in terms of what got you into real estate and bring us to today.
So, I've been in the business since 2017. Before I was a realtor, I have 4 children. My husband and I have been married. Actually, in April, we'll be married for 20 years. We got married very young. We were 19. He was in the Marine Corps. That's just what you do in the military. And we also started our family young. So for the first many years of our marriage, I was a mom. I was a stay-at-home mom. I did go to school for teaching. That did not pan out. And I did a little bit of bartending, waitressing on the side. I feel like a lot of realtors kind of started out that way. The restaurant that I was working at closed, and one of my regulars was a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway, and she was one of the higher ups, and I guess a recruiter. And she said, Jenna, I just think you would do amazing at this. And I'm like, haha, that's funny. Like, I've never even thought about that. She's like, seriously, let me know, because I feel like you'd be really good. 2 other people within the next 3 weeks said something similar about real estate. One being a good friend of mine who I met in the military with my husband. And I was like, I feel like that's a sign. Like, 3 people are telling me I think I need to do this thing. So I called Jen and I said, all right, let's do this. What do I got to do? And the rest, so they say, is history. I got the license, and I've kind of been hitting the ground running ever since.
And now you're a team leader of the Jenna Good team with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services home sale, based out of Lancaster. Obviously, you're in multiple counties there as well. So I feel like life is a series of aha moments, whether it's personal or professional. Mm-hmm. And, for me, it was like ChatGPT, November 30th, 2022, when I dove in, I distinctly remember when my friend called me and I said, Rajiv, you should check this out. And I dove in that weekend, and I did a video to all our sales associates on Monday.
Wow.
But I would love for you to share, what was your first aha moment with AI? And it doesn't matter which tool, most likely it's probably ChatGPT.
Yes. But before ChatGPT, because like you said, 2022 is kind of, but before that, I would say my aha was more so with video. And I realized, hey, you've got to be on video, because what do I want to watch? I want to watch video. And anytime there's a video versus a post with a lot of verbiage, I'm watching the video. Then I realized, wait a minute, not only do I need to be doing video, I need to have captions on my videos, because 90, probably 5% of people are watching my videos on silent. They have no idea what I'm saying to them. So that's where AI steps in, and you add the captions and you go, Opus Clip. There's different apps you can use, but I was like, even on Instagram's kind of my main focus.
Yeah.
And I just started using it there, and it was like, okay, everyone, I would see someone that I had not talked to. I'm friends with them on Instagram. I'm friends with them on Facebook. I have not talked to them in person in probably 10 years. I went to high school with them or something. Hey, how's the real estate market? It looks like it's going really well and you're doing really well. That is how I built my business. Video, that way. Like, it just, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, at the end of the day, content creation is key, but I think AI enables you to create it faster, more personalization, with all the tools that we're going to see. And I think we'll see so much innovation in that area that I can't begin. That's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd love for, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. It's constantly just evolving, and you have to evolve with it,
Yeah. So maybe we'll get to this question a little later once we dig into your specific AI use cases, but I'd love to maybe have you share the tools that are your go-to tools. I know you sort of referenced Opus Clip, but we'll get to that here a second. So let's kind of dive into things you use AI for week in, week out, or some regularity, and different use cases that I'd love for the audience to hear from you as well, and your team.
Yeah, and my team. So I love using ChatGPT. It's my favorite tool. I use that for my listing descriptions. So I used to sit down, and I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So I used to sit down, and it would take me hours, and I'd be reading these descriptions to everyone in my family. Like, how does this sound? Should I take boast out? Maybe it's not actually nestled there, and ChatGPT has saved me so much time. I just put in, hey, I need a listing description for 123 Main Street, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, half an acre, has an in-ground pool. I need it to sound professional, and it just spits it right out to me, and it in 5 minutes. Now, I can't just take that. I have to tweak it. And I have, since the last time we chatted, looked a little bit into those more specific GPTs, the custom GPTs.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to create one yet, but that's my next move, is to create a custom GPT. That way I can put all of my listing descriptions in the same one, and then it starts to actually sound like me without me having to do a bunch of extra work and tweaking the words.
100%. I can see, and I'll share this with you, and we'll maybe put a link in the show notes. I built some custom GPTs for real estate agents that are public. So there's one for listing description that understands fair housing, doesn't use familial status and some of the buyer stuff. And you could even upload pictures to it, Jenna, and it will detect the picture and include that in the verbiage. So it's very personal.
Yeah.
So I can see you building good, no pun intended, GPTs. Good GPTs for your team that are, I call it like things you do regularly when you have a buyer, when you have a listing.
Yes.
So it's rinse and repeat for your team members, and it'll save you hours every week.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it just makes it a process, and an easier process. We have processes already, of course, but anything that gets me more time. I have 4 children. I need more time with my family, and I need more time to sell houses. I didn't get in this business to be techie on the computer. I'm really not a tech person at all, to be honest with you. I just see the value and knew I needed to start learning. Yeah,
definitely. And I think you make a good point about freeing time back. And I think if you can automate the ordinary with AI, and then you can personalize the extraordinary, which is spending that time that you save with clients and building memorable relationships. That's the real essence of embracing AI as well. So obviously you're doing listing descriptions, time-saving tactics is one key takeaway I'm hearing from you.
Yeah.
Anything else you've sort of dug into or your team has that they feel like, we should do more of this?
So we recently redid all of our buyer and seller guides. So I used ChatGPT, was a big tool for that for us. ChatGPT helped all 3 of us write our bios. We just put in specifics, like what awards have we won, where do we live, things like that. And it gave us fantastic bios. Again, tweaked it a little bit, but that was a huge help. I've used it to send emails. In real estate, it's not always easy, as you know, to deliver certain news.
Yeah.
Sometimes that comes over email, sometimes it's over the phone, sometimes it's over text. If it has to be a written communication and it's hard, even if it's not hard, sometimes I'll put it through Chat GPT, just, hey, help me make this sound more professional. Or if I'm really angry about something, because, hey, that happens too in real estate, I need to be less angry. Let me put this through Chat GPT, make it sound professional, and it'll spit an email back out for me. And again, I tweak it a little bit, but it's just such a time saver. It really
Yeah. I mean, you make such a good point. I mean, I think a lot of times initially it was like most people are aware of ChatGPT, but if you don't embrace what I call as like an AI first mindset, Jenna, like everything that comes into my inbox, I look, can AI help me do this better and faster? And I ask that question. It may slow you down a little bit, but over time, you're going to be so far ahead of other agents that are not doing that to save the time, which is so valuable. I mean, fortunately, I have 3 children. I can imagine what it is to have a family life and have that balance that sometimes it's hard to find.
Yeah.
Right. So, so writing. So I can see a good writer GPT that could help you write.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned buyers and seller guides, I mean, this is another thing that just came. We were working on it at our company. You could convert those into different languages like that.
I just listened to your podcast yesterday about that, and you said something about Spanish, and I was like, I can speak Spanish through ChatGPT to my clients. That's amazing.
It's common. It's like very close. Yeah. And I'll send you the link. You should watch that video that was a TED Talk. I think audio computing is the next evolution. Like, when Apple announced recently about their Apple Intelligence with the iPhone 16s that just got announced. And I think Siri is going there with that, and it's going to become AI empowered. So imagine what that would do for like role play. I can just talk and have role play conversations versus text. Right now, you got to input text that converts it into speech and then speech to text. So there's a lot of conversions happening. I think that's the next real innovation that'll happen within AI that will make it just another aha moment,
Absolutely. And I think too, so many agents and people in general are kind of afraid of AI. How do I use this? How do I start? How do I get into this? My gosh, Rajiv, I remember the very first time I went live on Facebook. Again, this is not AI specific, but back to video.
Oh, yeah.
It took me so many times. My oldest daughter was with me. I was at an open house, and I practiced so many times, and she was like, Mommy, give me the phone and I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
As soon as I did it, I felt like 1,000,000 pounds lift off my shoulders. Then I did another live. And now I make a fool out of myself on the daily on my Instagram stories because it's just.
I mean, and you make a good point. I mean, everybody, I think people sometimes think they got to be perfect. For me, it's like progress over perfection. Your first video is not going to be as good as your 20th video, and your 100th video is going to look amazing, but you can't get to 100 in your video number 1.
Yeah.
You just have to overcome it.
Yeah.
And I think all of us have the fear, but you just got to make a decision too. We had Maxwell Stevens on recently. He's one of the Rethink Council agents. And he said, one of the biggest things I had to overcome was the fear of what people would think and my own fear. You shouldn't be taking people too seriously. You should be taking yourself so seriously. I mean, life is short, have a little fun with it, right?
So true. So true.
Right. So that's great. So I can see, the biggest enhancements I'm hearing from you, Jenna, is productivity enhancements to save time so you could do other things. Really, you love to talk to people, buy and sell real estate. That's really what you got into real estate for. So, and then obviously some ideation, helping you write emails and do more things, buyer seller guides. What else? Anything else that is AI was like a helper or strategist?
Let me see here. I have a couple notes here that I wrote down just to spike my memory. Oh, well, market analysis. I've done that before. I went right on Search GPT actually, which is, similar,
Yeah.
And just said, hey, how many active listings do we currently have in Lancaster County? It told me in 12 seconds, how many active listings we had in Lancaster County. I can find that information. I can easily go on the MLS, but it's going to take me longer than 12 seconds. So, just data, it's easy to pull things. It's easy to anything like that. It just truly the biggest thing for me is time. I love working with people. I love people in general. And I just need more time to be able to do that rather than all of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing, obviously, you got to verify the data, make sure it's accurate.
Yes.
I call it here, it's a human-centered approach to AI, right? The last mile is always a human filter, right? You got to make it work for that. So we had Whitney Lohr from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Properties Group in Tampa. She built a market analysis GPT, Jenna. So what she does every month was she downloads it from the MLS, like whatever length, last 30 days, 60 days, whatever. And then she just uploads that file to this custom GPT, and it gives her all the things, like a little email write-up, little social captions, and she runs with it. Every month she does that. It's a process. She knows what she's doing. So that's where I think GPTs, custom GPTs will help you as you start to evolve. I do this every month. I should build a GPT for this. I do this every week, like I do that for YouTube, for example.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, like for YouTube titles, descriptions, and tags. So I give it a topic, and boom, it goes.
That's another thing I've used AI for with Instagram and YouTube, but mostly Instagram, is the captions and hashtags.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I built. There's in the public GPTs we have. There is a 6-pack to build your AI muscle. That was and one of them was social captions. So you give it even a visual image, like you get keeping current matters, like what's happening with equity. You give it that, it'll give you captions for all the social platforms with the hashtags, with specific characters bold. So I'll share that with you. We'll put it in the show notes as well for the audience to take a look at.
It's brilliant. It's just
So I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with AI. I've heard this quote: in the next couple of years, 80% of the tasks we do can be AI assisted. Which, imagine what that would do to your productivity. Imagine time on your hands to do the things you love to do.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's what excites me, and talking to agents like yourself and kind of building the awareness as we go forward. So anything else you want to add to that?
Well, that 80% that you said there, I mean, this is where agents need to know. You got to lean into it. It is time to lean into it, or you're going to be left behind. It's just
100%. I think every transformative technology has a separation season. Like just because you and I have the new iPhone doesn't mean you're using it to capacity unless you know how to you're skilled with the iPhone. So AI is going to be the same way.
I'm certain of it.
Right. No, yeah, exactly. So as we wrap up the podcast, you've been in business for 7 years, Jenna, and experience is the best teacher, as long as sometimes it's somebody else's experience. So if you're talking to the younger Jenna, or maybe one of your 4 kids wants to get into real estate, and say, Mom, give me your one piece of advice. If you were to start real estate again, what are the things that are going to be the most impactful that I should focus on? What should advice be to your younger self?
So what I'm going to tell brand new baby realtor Jenna is kind of like what I just said. Lean into it, jump in with both feet, get rid of the fear mindset. It doesn't matter what people think of you, because you're out there, you're doing your best. You're doing this for you. You're doing this. Remember your why and just go after it. Set your goals, put a plan in place, and do it. Just do it. Don't procrastinate. Just do it. I know that sounds very cliche, like Nike, just do it. But it's true. I feel like, are our own biggest obstacle a lot of the time. And we just got to get out of our own way. We have to be adaptable in this business. And you just gotta go for it. Jump in with both feet, do your best, come from a place of contribution always, and you will be successful.
That's a great piece of advice. I love that. And as we finish, the other question I want to ask all my guests is, what is the one book or podcast that has truly impacted your business that you want agents that are listening to read or listen?
So reading is not really something I have a ton of time for, with 4 kids, being busy, all of that. If I am listening to a book, it's definitely an audiobook. I might get 5 minutes into it. It's a busy season in life for reading for me. But I do listen to a lot of different podcasts. Like I'll be watching Jimmy Burgess's podcast, for example, and I go through several of his while I'm driving. Or your podcast, Now Bam, Broke Agent, those podcasts I just love hearing what other realtors are doing across the country that is successful, that is working for them. And I try to implement those things into my business.
That's great. That's great. And as we wind down, if you're ever looking for a rock star agent in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, Jenna is your go-to. We'll include her contact information, and she'll appreciate your referrals. And we'll also put her social handles in the show notes. So reach out to her and say thank you. And Jenna, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it so much.
You made it to the end. Nice. My goal with this podcast is to elevate your AI skills every week. If you found value in the show, your goal is to follow, share with a fellow agent, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and leave us a review, as it helps us reach more agents like you.